The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, I'm Andy MacNeil, host of the Puck Portfolio here on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. I'm here weekdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time and wherever you get your podcast, providing projections, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. Now, if you enjoy the content, please like this video and subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. Also, if you're thinking about signing up for any of the great sportsbooks that are available to Canadians, check out canadasportsbetting.ca to find sportsbook reviews and offers. The link is in the description below. Wow, what a wild morning in the NHL. And yeah, I'm aware of the breaking news out of Ottawa, but I'm not going to address it until I've had a chance to digest all the information, because there is a lot of information to go through. We've got games to talk about, though, so it's time for a schedule breakdown. As you see here, the usual schedule breakdown that I provide. The next 4 days of hockey looks like this: 11 games today, Thursday, 6 games on Friday, 9 games on Saturday, and 4 games on Sunday. So while this week was a little messed up due to Frozen Frenzy on Tuesday, there's plenty of hockey to help you get through the rest of the week. We'll get to Saturday and Sunday's games on tomorrow's show. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, do that right now so you get notified when we go live on Friday for the Puck Portfolio. Now, on the screen beside me is a breakdown of the NHL schedule that highlights how many rest days that teams have across the league, plus gives a little more context by telling us which teams have a tighter schedule. So what does this mean? Well, I can show you here, and as you'll see on the screen, teams with more rest than their opponents get better results. The percentage that you see on the screen is the home win percentage. So people ask me all the time, what is home ice advantage? Well, it's about 2.5% to 3% more likely, at least in the beginning, since the beginning of the 2021-22 season, i.e. when things went back to normal after the pandemic. Well, sort of. Over the last 2 seasons, home teams have won 52.4% of the time when they had the same amount of rest as the away team, a sample of about 850 games. This season, home teams have won 59.1% of the time when they're the team with more rest, but that's a 22 game sample size, so we shouldn't go get too fixated on that number. When the away team has more rest than the home team, an easy way to look at it would be that it wipes out home ice advantage, since the games have been split about 50-50 in the previous 2 seasons. But looking at the larger sample size, you can almost double home ice advantage if the home team has more rest than the away team, because the home ice win percentage goes from 52.4% to 55.1% over the last 2 seasons. So a big change there. Like, rest is a weapon in the NHL, but this is not going to beat the sports books, guys. It'll help you handicap the games better, that's for sure, but you're not going to be able to just blindly bet on whichever team has more rest and win money long term. If you could do that, I would be on an island somewhere. Now, I mean, probably Cape Breton Island, but an island nonetheless, right? So you can't disregard it. You've got to factor in the rest and the fatigue into your analysis, into your handicapping, or it'll hurt you. And if that sounds like work, well, it is, because it's a lot of work to keep up on all of this stuff. But I'm doing a lot of it for you, right? I account for this here in my game projections, which you'll see really soon. But I still talk about the schedule every day here on the Puck Portfolio, because I think it's super important that everybody has as much context as possible. And I hope the rest stats that you see on the screen here will provide a little bit more context and help you out even a little bit more. So we're going to get into the projections right away. As always, I look ahead to the next day's NHL slate. And I did so on Wednesday, looking ahead to Thursday's games, and I provided my best bets. Those best bets were the New York Rangers at -110, the Philadelphia Flyers at +120, the St. Louis Blues at +150 or better. Now, as mentioned, I had locked in the Blues at +155, the Rangers at -105, and the Flyers at +130. I bet on Seattle to beat Carolina at +185, and I liked them down to +180, but that number did not stick around by the time that the show was being recorded. Right now, only the St. Louis Blues is really available, as the Rangers and Flyers odds have both moved fast and are now out of range. Because, like, understand this, NHL betting is a race, and I'm trying to help you win it. The earlier you watch the show, the more value you're going to get out of this. I know everybody is busy, so I really try to keep things short and get to the point. Now, time for some updates, right? We've got a lot to get into here. We'll get into the game projections for Thursday and Friday. You'll see them all on the screen. And I know some of you like to jump the gun and say, oh, Andy likes this team. Well, wait, stick around. I'm going to give you more context. Yesterday, I had the Red Wings listed as a minus 129 favorite, I believe. So that has obviously changed with the news that Alex DeBrincat is under the weather and may not play in tonight's game against the Winnipeg Jets. So stick around for the context, right? Anaheim at Boston, that's the first one up. The Bruins still big favorites as they should be, but I've got no interest in this one. The Ducks played them well in Anaheim last week. It was a close game. I don't expect Boston to look past this Ducks team, especially after that game. But look, getting home after a 4-game road trip, it's their first road trip of the season. It could provide enough distractions to make this game interesting, at least. That's just my opinion, though, and the model doesn't really see any value on the game either way. Seattle at Carolina, I talked about this one a little bit already. Most shops have the Kraken at around plus 155, in that 155 to 165 range. Some have them as low or as high, depending on how you want to look at it, as plus 175. I only like the Kraken enough to want to bet half a unit at plus 180, though. Word came out yesterday that defenseman Brett Pesce will be out long term after having surgery, and that's a big blow to the Canes. Andrei Svechnikov, still not sure about him at this time. I'm expecting Frederik Andersen to be back between the pipes for the Carolina Hurricanes since he backed up Kachekov, sorry, in the last game. So that's one to kind of monitor there with some lineup information possibly changing for the Hurricanes. But I'm on the Kraken either way, and I wouldn't be on the Hurricanes regardless. The Winnipeg Jets at the Detroit Red Wings. As I mentioned, news out of Detroit says Alex DeBrincat is under the weather, and James Reimer will be starting in goal against the Jets. As mentioned on yesterday's show, Connor Hellebuck is from Michigan, and now it's confirmed that he will be starting in goal for the Jets. If DeBrincat is in, the Red Wings would be a good bet, I think, as they're not a home. They're now a home underdog at some shops, and my projection model has the Red Wings with Reimer in goal as minus 120 favorites if DeBrincat is in the lineup. If he's not in the lineup, the game is basically a 50-50 split. You see on the screen there, Detroit minus 102. So I think there would be a harsh move toward the Jets if that's the case against the Red Wings, creating a little bit of value on Detroit, even if DeBrincat isn't in the lineup. I know that's probably sounds a little bit crazy for some, given how much he's scored, and maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm gonna gamble and find out if that's the case, because I think that'll happen if we learn that DeBrincat is not in the lineup. I would suspect that there will be another bit of a move towards the Winnipeg Jets on the money line, and if that's the case, I might jump in and bet the Detroit Red Wings. But it's going to be a game time thing. We probably won't learn about his status until warm-up. So follow me on Twitter at Digital Gambler for more. But it's also a good idea in situations like we had Wednesday, where I put out the projections and you're watching the show. And if you see a big change in where the projection model had a game, do your due diligence, right? Like check NHL feeds, check my Twitter account. Make sure a player like DeBrincat, for example, has not been downgraded to questionable, because it will change things quite a bit. And I don't want anybody to think that, oh, now there's value on the Detroit Red Wings because Andy's model said so. Andy's model is changing all the time. I really did not mean to talk in the third person there, so I'm sorry about that. But anyways, Columbus at Montreal. The Canadiens, they opened up around minus 125, which is close to where the model thought they should be, but the market has been showing some love toward the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Canadiens are down around minus 115 at quite a few shops at this point. Samuel Montembeault will get the start in goal. I like Montreal at minus 110, but that price is sort of non-existent right now at this point anyway. I'll let you know on Twitter if I add a bet on the Canadiens. Marquee game between the Avs and Pens. Lots of star power, of course, at 5-on-5. Look, Pittsburgh ranks 5th in expected goals according to Evolving Hockey at 56.1%, while the Avalanche rank first with 58.7%. But the Avalanche have backed up their underlying metrics with a 57.9 goals for percentage, while the Penguins have scored just 48.2% of the goals so far. The Penguins' shooting percentage is fine too, maybe a little low, but 8.25% at 5-on-5. It's not like there's any signal that there will be some positive regression here. Their save percentage is bad as well, but or their save percentage is bad, but that's not all that surprising because Tristan Jarry is all over the place, and Alex Nedeljkovic, who is now injured week to week, isn't very good either. No bet on this game right now, but if the market mistakenly, I would say mistakenly, move toward the Pittsburgh Penguins, then I would be quick to bet the Avalanche here. The model has Colorado at minus 133 on the money line. Going to be an interesting one. I might have a little bit of action on an Artturi Lehkonen anytime goal. We'll see. But yeah, that one's something I've kind of keeping in my back pocket here as Lehkonen is on the top line with Nathan MacKinnon. He's on the top power play with MacKinnon as well. He actually is second on the team in shots on goal per 60 minutes right now, and first on the team in expected goals per 60 minutes, according to Evolving Hockey. So there's something to like there with Lehkonen. Around that 2-to-1 price to score an anytime goal tonight, and the Penguins have had a hard time keeping goals out of their net. As mentioned, I'm on the Flyers at plus 120, actually plus 130, but I won't brag about that, right? Plus 120 was available yesterday, so was plus 115, which was my cutoff. The Flyers are now at best plus 105, but mostly even money, with Carter Hart now confirmed as the starting goaltender. Another example of why you should be watching the show as soon as possible, right? The Ottawa Senators in New York to take on the Islanders. Ilya Sorokin will start for the Islanders, or is expected to, it looks like. And it looks like the Senators will have their captain in the lineup after all, as Brady Tkachuk has avoided a one-game suspension for instigating a fight in the final 5 minutes of Tuesday's game versus the Senators. The Senators, I would think, are expected to be back with Jonas Korpisalo between the pipes after Anton Forsberg allowed 5 goals in the loss to the Sabres before being pulled. The Senators should be a plus 112 underdog, according to the projection model, now that Tkachuk is eligible to play. Toronto Maple Leafs at Dallas Stars. Not enough movement here one way or the other. We've seen the odds bounce around a little bit, but the projection model lists the home team, the Stars, as minus 125 favorite. That's roughly where they sit right now. Joseph Woll, he's my preferred goaltender for the Maple Leafs, but the model still likes Samsonov a little more, less now than at the start of the season, but still a little more. Either way, I personally don't think the goaltender for the Maple Leafs will impact the projection all that much, and we'll see what happens here with this one. St. Louis Blues at Calgary Flames. I'm on the Blues, as I mentioned. The betting market, though, continues to be stubborn as hell when it comes to the Flames. They're not that good, guys. I mean, their 5-on-5 shooting percentage is bad. I get that. Their 5-on-5 save percentage is a league low, 886. So yeah, like something's got to give. But I really don't think this team is ever going to live up to the odds that are being set for them on a regular basis. I'm hoping Jordan Binnington starts for the Blues. It would be a big downgrade if it's Joel Hofer, but I was okay taking that early price. I didn't think it was going to stick around, but once again, the betting market showing their stubbornness to back the Calgary Flames as a bigger favorite and push them even higher, push their odds even higher. So I'm on the Blues plus 155 down to plus 150 for 0.5 units regardless. Hopefully Binnington is in goal. Now, look, guys, I was harping on Twitter yesterday to go watch the video. It was under 13 minutes long. This bet on the Rangers at minus 110 was available up to minus 115. It was sticking around well into the afternoon, but eventually it did move. Now the Rangers are minus 130, minus 135, even minus 140 at some shops. I'm trying to help you win this race, like I said, to get good numbers, and I predict that I will more often than not. So watch the show. It's only going to get harder as the betting market gets more data, becomes more sure of itself as the season goes on. Anyway, Rangers minus 110 for me. Maybe you too if you watch the show. Back to the blue shirts though. I mean, at this point, no, minus 130, minus 135. You can't bet on the Rangers at this point. The value is gone. So recapping NHL picks for Thursday, the New York Rangers minus 110 on the money line, the Philadelphia Flyers plus 120 on the money line, and the St. Louis Blues plus 150, 1.1 unit, 0.8 unit, and 0.5 unit bets, respectively. I'll be also keeping an eye on the Canadiens price, of course, and news about the Red Wings sniper Alex DeBrincat. But on to Friday, not a whole lot of interest in Chicago and Vegas. Of course, we know sniper Taylor Hall is still out of the Chicago Blackhawks lineup. That had a big impact on the odds. Of course, Vegas is a big minus 318 favorite according to the betting projection model. And according to the betting market, that looks to be about right. The San Jose Sharks at the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh my God, minus 427. Was there an error there? No, probably not. The Sharks are so bad, man. I mean, they are really bad, and I'm not interested in laying big prices betting against this team. But I'm certainly not going to be interested in betting on this team. I mean, like, especially with Logan Couture and Alexander Barabanov and Mikael Granlund questionable heading into their game against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday, and then maybe on in Carolina on Friday. I mean, I worry that any model, much less my own, will be able to capture just how much this team sucks, right? So you've got to be kind of cognizant of that. The Buffalo Sabres at the New Jersey Devils here. Now, look, New Jersey, they were on the wrong side of Washington's shooting percentage regression on Wednesday. They allowed 6 goals in the defeat to the Capitals. It was the Capitals' first win of the season. But it's only a matter of time before the New Jersey Devils have their own kind of resurgence, because the Devils' shooting percentage is just 6.5% at 5-on-5 right now, generating 3 goals above expected goals per 60 minutes, but just scoring 1.9 goals per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. If you're wondering why what I said before about the Penguins does not apply to the Devils, or it doesn't seem like it does, well, unlike the Penguins, who actually have a better shooting percentage this season than they did last season, the Devils' shooting percentage, on the other hand, they're about 2 percentage points lower than they were in 22-23. And with all the talent that they have, that just does not add up. So I'm actually closer to betting on the Sabres than I am the New Jersey Devils. The Sabres have more rest than the Devils, so that does help them a little bit, but not quite enough there to justify making a bet just yet. And I'm also a little bit concerned about who the Buffalo Sabres will start in goaltender, and not so much concerned about who it will be, but just how it will impact the betting market. Will there be a big harsh move against the Sabres if it is one goaltender or the other? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I might act on that one if something changes there. Now, it really seemed like the Capitals, like I said, they were never going to get a win again the way they were playing, and especially after blowing a 3-goal lead in under just 2 minutes early in the second period against the Devils on Wednesday. But just the third period was just as wild. The Caps rallied, and they won the game 6-4. Really, really great game. Fun game to watch. They had an extremely low shooting percentage going into this one, so it really did feel like it was bound to happen at some point. Notice how I said it felt like it was, not that it was bound to happen. I mean, sure, it would probably be unlikely that the Capitals would continue to struggle on offense, given the talent they have, and to the degree that they were struggling pretty drastically, right? So, but I don't think anybody should be trying to catch a falling knife here in the NHL by blindly betting on every other team that has a low shooting percentage or is considered unlucky, right? So if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But I mean, just don't put too much stock into this. Oh, the team has low shooting. Maybe there's a good reason their shooting percentage sucks. I don't think that is necessarily the case with the Capitals, but something to keep in mind going forward, right? The Los Angeles Kings and Arizona Coyotes, they're going at it again. The Coyotes lost to the Kings on Tuesday in LA by a score of 6-3. I think it would have been a lot closer if Arizona had gone with Karel Vejmelka in goal to begin with. They started back up Connor Ingram instead, and he allowed 3 goals on 9 shots. Not great for my bet on the Coyotes at plus 175. But when they made the change back to Vejmelka, he really did give them a chance to win, like he does on most nights. And you could argue that he did allow a bad goal that maybe cost the Coyotes a chance in the game, but it's hard to fault a guy who came into the game cold, not expecting to play. I think the Coyotes will be better. The projection model has them as a plus 112 underdog right now. And the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks finishing things off. Look, I'm expecting Jordan Binnington to get the start, or at least I'm hoping he will in Calgary. Like I said earlier. So Vancouver's chances of winning, which you see on the screen here at 61.1%, their projected odds at minus 157. That's if they're facing off against Joel Hofer. I don't know if that's the case right now. So, all right, that does it for Thursday's episode of the Puck Portfolio. Remember, I'll be here on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time to talk all things NHL hockey, including a breakdown of Saturday and Sunday's NHL betting odds and projections. We'll have picks, I'm sure, for the weekend. So tune in to the Puck Portfolio on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern Time on Friday and weekdays, or wherever you get your podcast. I'll see you then.